YouTube, do you guys ever wonder how all these top tier players are able to just find players on the map? Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss each and every one of his kills and tell you guys exactly how he's able to track them down. If you guys are trying to be aggressive players, make sure you stay tuned, watch the video in its entirety. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the video. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe. All right, guys, so here we are spectating Mr. F as he drops over at Superstore. Now, unfortunately, Superstore ain't what it used to be, but it's still not a bad spot to go, mostly because it's central location around all the hot areas. There we are, accurately beaming the shit out of that poor bastard. He stood no chance in hell. Quickly grabbing loot and trying to start focusing on more players landing in. Doesn't look like many players have landed towards us, so we should be relatively well off looting. Now, I wouldn't just go in here assuming that nobody's here. Also pop that reload. I would definitely play in this bitch like there's another player here, because sometimes when you're not looking, there could be a little straggler landing behind, and if you're too complacent, you will get absolutely destroyed. Now, that's one benefit to playing on mouse and keyboard that we do have, is the fact that we can actually maintain movement and check the map relatively easy. It's still possible on controllers, but it's a lot harder for you guys to do that with your fingers, and yeah, it gets a little difficult for you guys. We got a scav, we got a bounty if we do happen to find enough money to need for the scav, but might as well while we're here. See what it decides to do. Also, guys, if you're trying to get fast movement, you're going to need to slowly start increasing your sensitivity. Sensitivity settings are crucial for you guys to have movement like this. If your sensitivity is too low, it's going to take you a lot longer to turn side to side, meaning your movement is going to be hindered. Now, I don't recommend you guys just go ahead and blazing up to 20. You want to work your way there slowly. But still, guys, your goal is to try to hopefully get better with the sensitivity you're on now. And then all of a sudden, when you're feeling confident, boost it up a little bit more, and so on and so forth. This is one of the reasons why I encourage you guys to get out there and play aggressive, because the less fights you get in, the harder it's going to be for you guys to evolve as players. You get 100 fights, you're going to be way better off than the player who only got one fight. All right, we got enough money for our loadout, got enough money for UAV, self-res, anything we need. So let's go ahead, get to the buy station, and start hunting bitches down. Now, no bounty next to us right now, so I definitely go ahead and pop the UAV instantly. If there was a bounty next to us, you could chase that down and then pop the UAV. That's preference, to be honest, but it is a way to save your UAV. Get the bounty, hunt them down, kill them, then pop the UAV. But I'd probably just go ahead and pop it regardless, and then just hold on to the second, which is exactly what he's doing. Just because there's two players, solos, sitting on top of each other. I'm sorry, this is not solos, this is solo duo. That explains why they're not shooting each other. And notice again, guys, they're sitting there in the same building, whether they're looting, whether they're holding hands, no matter what they're doing. This is not the play. Look at that. Weird, man. TTV goes down. Here we are with Dead Silence, pushing in, taking advantage of the player that's up, getting the instant wipe. Notice, guys, how he didn't go for the execute. Seems very basic knowledge, but I see you guys all the time going for that execution and putting yourself in a very bad position. Now, I'm not judging. I do the same thing from time to time, I'm gonna be honest, but from time to time is one thing. Making a habit of it is a whole nother ball game. There's a guy right there sitting on the ground level. Thank God for the UAV. Enemy vaulted up. You can see him on the UAV. There he is right there, coming around. Woo! All right. I do like to see the enemy drop shot it, but he did not commit to the drop shot. He actually tried to stand up and change his position. You guys, I don't know what that was. If you guys do drop shot, remember, don't commit to it. You guys want to be doing different things, changing your position, because if you're just laying on the ground still, all they gotta do is look down and shoot you in the head. Drop shotting is not hard to contest unless you guys are maintaining movement. And again, know how quick he does everything, man. You guys need to get in the buy station, out of the buy station. If you're on controller, know how many clicks down to get to one thing, know how many clicks up to get to another thing. That way you guys can just count in your head, comes repetition, and then bada boom, bada bing, you're in and out, and you don't stay vulnerable. And on top of that, you can go off and get kills faster. You guys are wasting 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there, 30 seconds there. You've already wasted a good percentage of the match. There's an enemy crouch walking right there. No surprise he died. That is definitely not a surprise at all.
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
All right, he's able to get the res up. Both these guys jump down. Now, instead of just full sending down there, like a lot of you guys would, A lot of people in this position, they see two enemies, they see them in a disadvantage because we have high ground. They would either A, commit to this ledge to shoot down, or B, they would just jump down there and force the enemy. I like the way that Mr. F plays this shit. Instead of just jumping down, he does just wait for the enemy to come to him, which he does. That's an easy 1v1. Very careful with that execution with that little ammo, but luckily the enemy does not push us. We separate the distance from the enemy by changing our position so we can pop the reload and plate safely, and then we're going to go back down and re-challenge the enemy, I would assume. There it is. Didn't even see it coming. Rolling VD streets, just kind of sitting there out in the open, no cover or anything. And again, guys, listen to footsteps. We didn't have dead silence on or anything. And for some reason, he had no idea where we were at. Audio is your friend. Now, I know it can get loud, but turn that audio up a little bit, guys. If you're having a hard time hearing footsteps, you really shouldn't. Footsteps are pretty decent right now. They're not the greatest, but it's pretty decent. There's no reason not to hear enemies that don't have dead silence around you. All right, we have an enemy inside of or on top of airport. We're going to go for this enemy instead. Why? Why do we choose to go for these guys instead of the guy that was right next to us? Big mistake. Not really. Not a big mistake at all. I fooled you guys. This is actually a good idea right here. One, more players, right? 2 kills versus 1 kills. Huge bonus for most of us, right? 2, way easier building the fight in because it's smaller. Yes, it's more levels, but again, it's more compressed. So it's going to be easier for you to clear. You go hunt down some random Joe Blow on top or inside of airport. It's going to be a long drawn out cat and mouse search. And again, you're going to waste an entire UAV. This way we can go get these easy kills first and then maybe go back to airport unless other enemies end up popping up on the UAV that are in a more vulnerable state. Always focus on players that are more vulnerable than the ones that are more complicated just because they're closer. Yeah, in a very bad spot. I got RPGs going out right now, but luckily the enemies are separated. One on the rooftop, one down below. We should be able to take the guy down below relatively easy right here. Just wait for him. I don't know what we were doing aiming at the ground, to be honest. Big drift.
Request recon flyover. UAV entering the AO.
Now, Mr. F's really good at the game. I'm going to go ahead and link his channel in the below. He's been kind enough to send his gameplay a few different times to kind of just demonstrate aggressive gameplay. Of course, enemies instinctively going to go for the res instantly. They're going to be able to pop it off in time. Just time management will be able to tell you that. So we're still going to close the gap regardless. We're not going to sit here and just hold an angle, wait for the enemies to come back to us. If you guys get a knock, push. It's imperative, man. Enemies, of course, down below, rotating out the right-hand side. We know that now. I doubt he's going to come back in. He might. He did. Now he's under us. He's coming back. There he is. And GG. Just sitting there patiently waiting while we're ADS, waiting for audio. We do hear the audio, and the enemy, of course, comes right back up the staircase where we're waiting. And the enemy's mindset in there is probably, okay, he could kill my teammate. He thinks I'm gone. I'm going to go ahead and rotate back around and see if I shoot him in the back. But again, guys, as you're going up staircases, you need to learn to clear staircases properly. Now, do you ever get the feeling like everyone's cheating in the game? A good percentage of players are cheating, but a lot of times they're just players out there using UAVs. And you're like, how the hell did he know I was there? He probably had a UAV, and or he saw you running out in the open, and or one of their teammates saw you and they pinged you from a whole other location. Observance is everything, and a lot of you guys are playing this game not really observing much of anything. If the enemy doesn't grace you with their presence, you have a hard time finding them. Remember, guys, go towards areas that you think enemies going to be rotating from to get safe. Go to areas that you think enemies going to be fighting in. You guys are struggling finding players. You're not playing aggressive enough. There's no reason why you don't see 10 players minimum per game, which means in turn, there's no reason why you shouldn't drop 10 kill games unless your teammates are stealing your kills. Good shit with dead silence, pulling up. The enemy is expecting him to go from that. I will say, I probably would have changed my angle and pushed a different spot since our vehicle pulled up to the front door, but it worked out regardless. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, guys, if you pull up to a building in a vehicle and you have a chance to push it from a different position, aka run on the right-hand side and jump into the window, definitely do that. Because again, when the enemy saw the vehicle pull up to the front door, that's instantly where they were looking towards. We just happened to get lucky that they were body McBot bots. UAV going up. Here we have another one that unfortunately is the only team marked on UAV, so we'll have to work ourselves out of the circle a little bit more to go over there, but they're not too far away, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. And they look to be going to the buy station, so this should be relatively easy to beam. We could go to the rooftop of this building right here. Oh, he's gonna do it anyway. We could go to this rooftop of this building right here and get some easy beams as they're out in the open, or we could just pull up in the vehicle and 1v2 them. That's completely up to you, just depending again on your skill level.
Recon flyover.
Now, right now, we have the enemies in a position where they're separated, right? So even though we're solo duo, it's technically 1v1 going on. We can fight this guy over here. He's clearly going to be rotating all the way back to the east-hand side to come around to his teammate. So in this position, I would probably push this dude. Unless we suspect he's going to be rotating around, I'd go ahead and push him and make it a 1v1 fight. He may go ahead and try to peek. I doubt it. And here we are closing the gap, popping dead silence once again. The amount of deadies in this game is absolutely insanity. Now look, a lot of you guys are probably thinking to yourself, and I already know the comments. Look at this. How do you know where he was at, Savage? Savage, no way. Did Mr. F know he was up the staircase? No way. He's a cheater. The cheating son of a bitch. You're wrong, man. Look, guys, UAVs, man. This is why I preach this shit. Notice the arrow above the UAV indicates the elevation of the player. If the arrow is below the enemy, guess what? He's below you, right? Weird how that works. So that's why we knew exactly where he was at. So that's an easy knock. And in this position here too, that team should be working a little bit more together. And again, I don't mind y'all having separation, but be close enough to where you can at least help your teammate out if he gets in a bad spot. He was ready for you, man.
It's like he fucking knew. He actually got.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, man. Let's frame by frame. Either A, he's got the fastest reaction time in the world, for him to be able to instantly lock on you and just beam.
It's like he fucking knew.
He could have just had really good reaction time. I'll be honest, that's goated reaction time, but it's definitely not impossible. All right, so here we are now in a position where there's still 50 players up and we're already at 13. This should be an easy, I say easy, this should be a probable 20 kill game. Maybe even 30 kills. You have an enemy spotted right here getting shot by another player. Notice how he's patiently waiting for the enemy to reveal himself and or put himself in a position where we can push. Instead of just taking pop shots at him, hitting him here, hitting him there, revealing our position, he's being patient with the shots. Unfortunately, we do have the helicopter start to contest us, so we did have to win that fight. The enemy that is by the gas station did get out of the vehicle, so again, we could push that fight. Great beams, great knock, almost, man. Good shit. And the enemy's rotating back behind you. We should be able to go ahead and rotate out of this. This is an easy kill right here. Now, as far as the enemy's standpoint, I'm not sure why he did that, why he bailed around the back side, because if we would have been ready for him, we could have got an easy one-tap kill. In a position where you're close to an enemy and he's shooting at you and he breaks your armor, you need to separate. You need to create a little separation. You don't have to run all the way away, but at least go to fire station, go to a building that's a little bit further away so you make it a little bit hard for him to win. And look, Mr. F does a great job, and I got to give him credit. He does a great job of showing a good display of patience and aggression. Notice when he pushes the building, he just go right in and slide cancel. He slowly checks the corners. I say slowly, he's still doing it quickly, but he patiently checks the corners. Look at the building jumps. Now this is dangerous because you are vulnerable, but so fucking smart. 200 IQ right here, bros. If I would have done that, I wouldn't have opened the case because the enemy would know you're there, and that's why he was sitting there holding that angle. He heard the case open. Now, I love the fact that the enemy is literally so focused on where you were at, he didn't even predict where you're going to come from. Again, guys, know the layout of the buildings, know the potential of what you can do with the buildings. Watch some videos. A lot of streamers, a lot of YouTubers have some videos out there that teach you building jumps. Make sure you guys pay attention to it, memorize it, try your best, load into a private match with your friends, practice jumping in the buildings, master the art of it. Granted, the map's changing in 2 months, so maybe not right now, maybe the next map. But guys, always be aware that enemies can come in at different angles. I don't know why he was shooting. He didn't even see us. He was just shooting where we once were, which put him at a disadvantage. We heard the gunshots. We went in with confidence, got the easy kill. Quick heartbeat. And again, he's using a heartbeat sensor, right? And I hate on heartbeat sensors all the time, but I never want to tell you guys it's a bad tool. The heartbeat's a great tool. A lot of players just use it like a bunch of bots. There he is, crouched in the corner plating. Again, guys, you never want to freeze up and plate, because if you do, there could be an enemy right there ready to one tap you. We know the player's on the rooftop or maybe the third floor of the next building. So here we are pushing up the opposite side. Unfortunately, no dead silence. Gonna have to whip out the heartbeat one more time to find out exactly where he is maybe, and then jump down. There he is right under us. He's coming up the staircase. Or he's camping in a corner. Bruh. Baba Yaga. Come on, man. Don't just sit there. Again, guys, I'm gonna tell you, if you crouch anywhere in a corner, you're gonna die. We have an enemy sitting in fire station. Could be two. One may be ghosted, so we need to be very, very careful of this. Instead of pushing in from ground level, it looks like we're going back to the high ground. Maybe potentially picking a guy on the rooftop, or just bailing off and getting a nice little wombo combo. Let's see what happens. Player's cleared out on top. He's on the second floor, and it's easier to push in a building from the top than the bottom, at least when it comes to fire station. Notice how the enemy gets shot. His first instinct is to what? His first instinct is to run to the cubby. Instead of just bailing left and going back inside the building, he's going to go inside of a cubby, but he does make it out. Good beams on the enemy. Good shot. We're being third party right now from the guy below us. Look at the mini map right here. Got the arrow below the dot, instantly letting me know mid-fight that he's below us. Quick analyzation of where you're getting shot at. So when you get shot, start moving, but don't look at where you're going. Look at your mini map. Look at your mini map and your hit indicators. That's what you should be looking at the moment you get shot. Your instinct should tell you which way to go. You just came up a building, so your body should know, your hands should know exactly where you need to go. Again, going back to the cubbies. Beautiful gunfights, maintaining movement, trying to work the boxes to the best of his ability. Now, the enemy should have known that he could have shot through the boxes. He didn't, and he ended up losing the gunfight because he didn't put enough bullets into us. Again, guys, stop putting yourself in cubbies when you get in gunfights. Here we have an enemy going back inside the building. We're going to contest him from the opposite side. Checking the front real quick.
So he's on the roof.
Coming up below us. Interesting. Another enemy? Loadout coming in right here. You have up. We've got two teammates on the roof, two enemies on the roof. I mean, we got one enemy above us in the tower. There he goes. Good shots. We got a guy with a bow and arrow instantly bailing out. And again, quick analyzation of what's going on in the fight in hand. Enemy had a bow. That shit's hard to contest, man. If the enemy is half-assed decent with it or just spams it, very hard for you to contest as a player. I love the fact that he always ego challenges in the open, but quickly bails back to cover, putting himself in a good position. Notice in his fights too, he changes his positions. He fought from the right side of fire station, bailed in the first door, and then bailed out the second door, always moving around, rotating. That way when the enemy peeked, his last position, we were in a whole nother position to put fire on him, confuse the enemy, and take him out. Now here we are on the high ground in the tower. We should have a good angle on the guys sitting in the building. All we got to do is wait patiently. There's another team that rotated to the southwest. This makes it hard for us to go ahead and hold that position. So now we got to bail out and do this fight all over again. It is still a different team. Oh, that's unfortunate. All right, changing our weapon layout. Going from the Mac to the MP5. Again, guys, it's the beauty of loadouts. If you get to in-game situation, you want a gun that's a little bit more, you know, a little bit more for the style of fighting you're about to be in. You can always change it up. Now, we're going to have to push these buildings, both of them. They're not going to leave their buildings. And I know I'm not going to be patient enough to sit here and wait for them. And I know that Mr. S probably not going to be patient enough to sit here and wait as well. All right, circle rotated in. So now we're in a bad spot. We got a bunch of enemies that's going to be on our backside.
All right, now this is very bad.
When we rotate. So if we get in any kind of combat situation, we have a very high probability of getting third partied. Fortunately, one of the teams behind us is fighting another team, so it makes us relatively safe. Still going to be a hard rotation, though. It's really going to be randomated just based off where enemies happen to be camping at or rotating from. But I would definitely get out of this train at all costs. I'd go to a different area and try to push myself to Boneyard as fast as humanly possible.
Oh my fucking god, we have a riot shield.
He's got a riot shield. GG. Want to get better at the game? Stop using riot shields. All right, so right now, he's doing something I really haven't seen often, and I don't do it myself. And it kind of took me a second to realize what he's doing, but I get it now. So when you're looking at trees and ridges like this, he stares at the ground so that he can see more. And you're probably wondering yourself, how the hell does he see more the same field of view? Well, if you're looking up here, well, notice how you have the scope right here. This takes away a lot of what you actually can see. So if there are enemies pushing from other areas of the ridge, if he happens to be behind this part, it's going to be hard to spot him. So what he does, he aims at the ground to spot in. Not a bad idea, preference. I'm not going to recommend it. I'm not going to disagree with it. But now I do see why he does this. I was kind of wondering, like, why are you aiming at the ground, bro? Makes sense.
Gas is closing in.
Footsteps next to us. Enemy pushing in the train right now. There's another enemy pushing from a whole different area. Now we're rocking 22 kills. We have potential getting a 30 bomb with 16 enemies up, and we still are in a bad spot to rotate into Boneyard. Now, anyone in Boneyard should be ready to gatekeep us. If I was in Boneyard, I'm going to know damn well that the edge of the circle right here needs to come across eventually. And even if they want to play these ridges, there's not much to play because all of the actual ridges are out of bounds. All of this is basically flat. So anyone in Boneyard in this circle needs to always look across the open areas and try to gatekeep him. If there was a good squad in here, knowledgeable, Mr. F would probably have a very difficult time pushing across to Boneyard.
Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone. Enemy UAV overhead.
All right, gunshots going off over to the 344. Tracers flying past us on accident. We're going to try our best to go in and third party the situation. There's one almost knock. We're able to knock the second player behind them. Do we have thermite? We do. Doesn't matter. We're going to go ahead and knock that guy too. Force the team wipe by executing the guy with self-res. There's a team wipe. Just kidding. All right, so here we are with 24 kills, 8 enemies up right now. If we're able to kill them all, that's a 32 bomb. Picking up the bow and arrow. Sick. Moving on out. There's a lot of firing going on to our left-hand side over to the west. Let's see how he rotates the circle. There's still 4 teams up.
Analyze the situation.
We got a big Bertha as well driving away, so that could be team number 3. So we're only looking for one straggling team right now. There's a guy just camping. We're able to snap on him. That was very dangerous. And again, sometimes you get in positions like that where you will die and there's really nothing you can do. If an enemy's holding the angle long enough, then it is what it is. Coming up on a third party from behind the enemy. Never mind, he dies. He goes down.
Stay sharp.
We've got enemies out there to the west-hand side. They revealed themselves because they were shooting at the player we were shooting at, and we were able to analyze that, instantly beam. Listen to the tracers spotting players to the south-end side. All right, that's the 1v1 right there. He didn't get the execute on it, so that is the last player. We know exactly where he's at. I don't think Mr. F has realized that's 1v1 right now. If he did, he probably would have pushed that asshole or spammed those bow and arrows at him more times. I don't believe that was the guy.
So I'm gonna use this Bertha.
I'll drive.
All right, using the Bertha.
Target marked. Send it.
This is Striker 3-1. Good copy. Strike inbound.
Airstrike doesn't push anybody out.
Impact, no joy.
There's the player right there. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even spot him sitting crouched next to the train, missing a shot, shooting at Bertha out in the open. Mr. F able to register that follow the tracers back to the enemy, and get the easy kill. GG. Look guys, the objective of this video was to show you guys how easy it is to find other players just by playing observant. You guys are just watching your tools, like the mini map, the UAV, the fact that players are unsuppressed, listening to audio, following the tracers, following the footsteps, things like this. You can find enemies relatively easy. Again, if you guys are practicing your movement and rotating around and moving from place to place, cover to cover, you guys should be getting more than a handful of kills per game. I want you guys to be able to drop double digits relatively often. That way, again, you guys could have more fun at the game. Every time he got a kill, he knew where they were at. There was an answer for it. The UAV, the bounty, a live ping, on the tracers. There's always a reason why these players are able to find all of these kills. And this is a perfect example of literally watching his match and explaining almost each and every kill that he had. But guys, I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you guys would like to submit your gameplay on the channel to be reviewed and analyzed, make sure you guys join our Discord community and utilize the submit videos room in the Discord to post your gameplay. But until next time, guys, you have a good one and good luck in Warzone.